This episode is brought to you by Walmart. New beauty is in bloom at Walmart, and it's all about springtime radiance. From Drybar, Tula Skincare, and hundreds more available online, Walmart has the premium brands you want and this season's on-trend products for flawless, glossy hair and hydrated skin. Big name beauty brands? Check. The things you love? Check. Find trending spring beauty and all you need to look and feel gorgeous at Walmart, on app and online.
Taking you behind the curtain. It's the Joan Hamburg Show. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
One of our great pleasures in watching TV has been joining the Masel family, following Midge, following her on and off again husband, her parents, his parents, the children, the whole army. We love it. And it's become part of our lives. And Michael Zegan is the guy, do we love him? Do we hate him? We're already in a lot of seasons. Is he a villain? What's going to happen to him? He's got a girlfriend, but then Mrs. Masel, the amazing Mrs. Masel, one of our favorite TV series, she's got guys too. So Michael, it's been a lot of fun to watch you come of age from the bridegroom in the beginning to a guy who's sort of finding himself and evolving. That's the joy of television series.
Oh, well, yeah, thank you. I agree. He's definitely evolved over the years.
I know, and you've played a lot of characters, too, that some of them are villains, some of them aren't. As the husband of the amazing, you're a different kind of a villain. And you go through, which a lot of guys go through. You know, you're married to a woman who suddenly starts taking off in a career that you thought was your career. And you're dealing with her, you're dealing with babies, you're dealing with your parents. And who are you? So not easy.
Well, he's dealing with it at a time when that was sort of socially unacceptable for a woman to take off the way she does, and for him to have to take care of the children. So I personally don't see him as a villain. Maybe in the first season, in the first couple of episodes, I wasn't really sure who he was yet.
He was, right.
So perhaps I might have leaned into that a little bit. But he's not the villain. It's clear that he's just a human being, and he has flaws, and he's made mistakes. And like I said, I still don't know where he's going, and that's exciting to me.
And that's great for us. That's what.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
That's what we love. And you've certainly done a lot of prominent TV stuff. Boardwalk Empire, that was a great one. The Walking Dead, a lot of them. So I'm just curious. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say I've been lucky. I've been very lucky that I was able to partake in these amazing TV shows that I was a fan of, before I was on them, which is so bizarre. It's like the movie Pleasantville. It's like I watch a show and then all of a sudden I'm on it. But it's maybe it drives me. Maybe it drives me during the audition or something like that. I want to be a part of it. I want to be in that world. I want to act with those actors, those characters. So it's just fun.
And I also have the feeling that you get the whole family part of the show. That what an important role they play, whether they're on a lot or on a little. Those people, we still need to be there. And they provide a balance, which we love as watchers and viewers.
Yeah, and and the first time I read the script, the pilot, when I was auditioning for it, I felt a kinship. I just felt like, I knew these people. I kind of grew up with these people. Not my family. It's not necessarily my parents. They're not really like the Masels or the Weissmans for that matter. But but I just got it. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I was brought up. Maybe it's what I was introduced to in terms of comedy when I was a kid, and I just felt like I could be a part of this world.
When you were a kid, Michael, did you want to be an actor? Was that something, you grew up not on Central Park West. It wasn't a big New York City grow up. So where did acting?
I'm from New Jersey, so I grew up I'm from Ridgewood, New Jersey, which is like 40 minutes outside the city.
Right. Good.
And both my parents are from the Bronx, and they're not actors by any means. They're not in the arts, but they support the arts, and I grew up, going to theater. I whether it was Broadway, we used to always go to Broadway shows, which I loved. Whether it be musicals or straight plays, and then there was also, my mom used to take me to children's theater all the time, which was just, Pinocchio or Snow White or stuff, stuff like that, that they used to do at community theaters in New Jersey. And then my uncle Bernie used to take me to all these avant-garde shows in the city. I remember going to see like a one-man show in some guy's apartment. And so I just had a very well-rounded education in terms of the arts. And I don't know what it was, but I just sparked to it. And I remember from the time I was in kindergarten, I wanted to be an actor. And I told my parents that I wanted to be an actor. So it was something that, I don't necessarily think they wanted me to become an actor, but they definitely didn't discourage it. And they sent me to acting classes every weekend, which I loved. And, so they supported it to an extent. Right. And obviously now they love it and they can tell all their friends.
And of course, and it's a show that they probably love. I mean, everyone can enjoy this. And
Definitely.
Fortunately, right, there's going to be another season. We're in season 4, but there's going to be another season 2. So we really don't know what's going to happen. But
yeah, we've already started shooting season 5, which is going to be our last season. It's funny because it's kind of confusing right now, even for me. It's like season 4 hasn't even really come out yet. Right, I mean, there's the first 2 episodes, but the rest hasn't come out. And there's so much content, that you guys are gonna see, and we're already into season 5. So it's and the scripts for season 5 are amazing. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And I have a good feeling that we're going to really stick the landing at the end. It's bittersweet, but so. Everything comes to an end, and I've known about this for a while. And so
it's okay.
Again, it's bittersweet, but I'm not going to take it for granted. I'm just going to, live in the moment.
Well, which is what you have to do. You've been in major TV shows. And, after every ending is a new beginning. I love that the show is set in the 50s and 60s. This is the New York that was such an exciting time. So it's sort of reassuring when we see it to think our city is going to come back. It may not be like that, but it's going to come back. And even though the show takes place in that time, most of the people are characters except for Lenny Bruce. There are not a lot of people that people would know or have read about. When I was a kid, just out of college, my first job was for a magazine. It was in a hotel in New York City, and they gave Lenny Bruce and a photographer called Ouija, a famous New York photographer, permission to sleep on the floor after they both worked all night of this magazine penthouse. And my first job was to wake up Lenny Bruce every morning, shake him and make him get up and get out. So I got the biggest kick out of you guys bringing him back in The Amazing Mrs. Masel.
That's incredible. That's really incredible. And Luke Kirby plays an amazing Lenny Bruce, but I wonder, did you ever really get to know him? Was he, other than waking him up in the morning, did you get to talk to him?
I got to talk to him, but I didn't appreciate at 20 or 19, who Lenny Bruce really was. And I went to see him at one point, and everyone had said, "Oh, you can't go to that. It's disgusting." It compared to what we see today. And over the years, he was mild. He was very devoted to his mother. He was a good guy. He was really a good guy.
The fact that he was a part of this show was really a selling point for me when I read the pilot, because I've always been a fan of Lenny Bruce. I had seen, the Dustin Hoffman movie years and years ago, I think when I was a kid. And my uncle had also bought me a few of his records. And so I definitely knew Lenny Bruce, and I knew his story, and I knew his tragic story. And so that was something that I just thought was so cool, and that I thought really made the difference with this show. I thought it was definitely a selling point for me.
Yeah, without question. But I'm curious, for all of you who have just joined us, I'm talking to one of the great actors in New York, a man who's worked a lot and who plays the marvelous Mrs. Masel's husband. Yes, husband, no husband, but they both can't seem to get rid of each other. Now, you started working, you went to where? Did you go to Vassar?
No, close. I went to Skidmore College in upstate New York, in Saratoga Springs.
Right, I know Skidmore, and it has a good acting, too. But when you came out, did you start working right away? Because you've done a lot of work. I
did. I was, like I said, I was very fortunate. I came to the city and pretty much started working immediately. That didn't mean that I didn't have side jobs. I needed to actually make a living and pay rent and whatnot. And I did start auditioning, though. I was able to find a manager when I was still in college, which was really important. Despite the fact that it was like a little kids management company, I was probably the oldest person there at 22, but I looked really young, and I started doing a character on the David Letterman show. I was playing Dwight the Troubled Teen, which was really, it was fun. And it was an amazing experience, doing this live television on this legendary late night show. And Dave really liked me apparently, and would bring me back every week to do this like little kind of silly little sketch. But I mean, that silly little sketch was able to, pay my rent and afford me the ability to eat. Yeah.
And
so
starting at the top.
Well, I don't know if that was the top, but it was something, it was something. It made me feel like I can do this. And it was definitely a push in the right direction. But yeah, it was amazing. I got to like hang out with all these celebrities while they waited in the green room, and I would just like spark up conversations and try to glean information, and it really was something special. And I look back on it fondly, and from there I just kept plugging away, and luckily it all worked out.
And it worked, and each one has been absolutely terrific. By the way, you can see, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Prime Video on Fridays. And I know you guys are shooting all over New York. In fact, someone called me today to say that they were on 80-something Street on the West Side, and there was the amazing Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah, well,
so they're doing that.
We're shooting all over New York. We should, as you can see in the first episode of this season, we shot in Coney Island, which was pretty special.
I know,
1950s Coney, or 1960 Coney Island. And it's just with this show, they just go all out. And I mean, there was hundreds of extras. Everybody's dressed to the nines, and it was supposed to be summer, although I think we shot like at the end of April, so it was a little cold, or maybe it was the beginning of May, but it was cold nonetheless. And everybody just stuck it out, and all the background actors were wearing short sleeves, and nobody's complaining. And it was just beautiful. It's a gorgeous shot.
Right, and you're such a part of the city when you do that and work in shows like this. It's it gives us such a wonderful look at, and the city is magical, and it was magical during those times. Is the
Oh,
cast?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, you've done, Joel, so many different TV shows. Is this one different in terms of your relationships with the cast?
We're a very tight knit group. There's no egos, there's no arguing. We really do love each other, and I think none of us take this show for granted. It's hard to hang out with people these days because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
But back before COVID, we always tried to get dinner as a cast, and we still do, but it's just a little more difficult right now. And but we do have, we've got a text chain, a group text, and we really do love each other. I mean, I don't think I have experienced anything like this. Not that I've ever experienced anything bad. I really have been very fortunate with the cast that I've been a part of, and I've never experienced any animosity towards each other from anybody. So I guess and I've heard horror stories. So I don't know. It's just never happened on anything I've worked on that I can remember. But yeah, we do love each other, and I did a play recently, and a bunch of the cast came to see it, and then we went out to dinner afterwards. And I was just thinking how sad it was that this wasn't going to happen. Of course we can get together, but just working with these people, as a group, it's not going to happen, after this, most likely. So it was a little sad, and I am going to be sad to see them go. But like I said, I'm just living in the moment, and I'm not taking anything for granted. And no, and we're just going to do it and see it through, and I'll have some great memories.
Right, and take us all along for the ride.
Absolutely.
I mean, we wonder how you feel about your wife, ex-wife, whatever it is at the moment, and her relationships with men, and you still in this series have a girlfriend. So we don't know how we feel about all this because, even kids.
It's very complicated.
Right? Everyone wants their parents to get back together or people they know. So here we're looking at you and thinking, I don't know, what's he going to do? What's going to happen? Are they going to get back together? Because now you seem to be in a fairly good place for the moment.
For the moment, yeah.
Right, just for the moment. And you've got the comedy club, you've got a lot of stuff, but are you going to hold on to it? So we got to watch it. Anyway, I'm excited for you. We love the show.
You.
We love all of you in it. And continued success and good luck. And don't forget, guys, you can see this show Fridays on Prime Video and enjoy it. Congratulations. We'll talk again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care. Please. I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to The Joan Hamburg Show on WABC. More after this.